Now look, in regard to the last recording, which I've just this minute finished, I had no inclination that what I was about to record was spiritual, only that it seemed an interesting point that I had in mind, which was something about land of hope and glory, because the word hope was there, of course, and spirituality requires hope, else it can't develop. And by spirituality I mean, well, the inclinations that we have that are truly of life and joy and peace and happiness and so forth. And so I launched on this recording just to see. I don't mean I felt inspired to do it and had a vision of, what the recording was going to be. I just made the first step. And God came to the party. Our Heavenly Dad. As he seems to always do now. I don't want to take it for granted, but I do want to trust that he will do just that, of course. Else I wouldn't have even the feeble will that I do have to start, which seems scarcely enough to launch me. But if you make the first step, our God, our Heavenly Dad, seems to honour it with showing you the way for all the rest and filling in the steps and carrying you where you can't, where you falter. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above in wisdom, power and love. Our God is an awesome God. Do you see just that, for instance, which has come to mind at that moment, gives us great encouragement. You may think this is weird, strange, but what your mind preoccupies itself with determines your way ahead. So you need to lead yourself spiritually in the direction you truly value. And as I say, then you'll find out, well, do I still value that direction? Is it a success or is it a disaster? What do I need to change? We're in this astonishing spiritual learning situation called life here in the world of good and bad, light and dark, material, time, change, uncertainty. An astonishing classroom that moulds our values, which is the very essence, as I see it, of our actual being. And we want our actual being, in as far as we have life, to have hope, and life abundant, in abundance into eternity. And we need encouragement, inspiration, focus of our resources to achieve that. What you trust and believe is everything to how your life unfolds. And in a sense we want eternal, good, wholesome, happy, successful, joyful, peaceful, safe, eternal life. You name it, you know all the words, you know it all. We do, in fact, at very heart, have the same values. Our way of achieving them sometimes results in the most appalling conflicts that seem to destroy everything we value. call such phenomena wars and desolation and so on. Yeah. I'm going to have a rest now. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Oh yes, and that, you know, that song, a Christian song, isn't it? I'll give you the, I mean, it's the great thing about a song is that you sing it, and it's a mantra effect of singing it, and it's revolving round and round in the back of the mind, and it's reinforcing a spiritual direction, a motivational direction that you want to go in. You know, these motivational speakers, they're masters of words, or they attempt to be, don't they? To capture your purpose, to strengthen your purpose in the way that you feel you value. Oh, where was I? Oh, yes. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from the heavens above in wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from the heavens above in wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. And, you know, sing it a few thousand times, and somewhere around, 20 or 30 times you'll find you've taken off. That's my experience of worship. I don't know if you need a particular eccentric background to have this consequence, but it has the consequence with me now. And my background was, well, anything but religious. Goodness. With my parents and upbringing in, I don't know, I was born in 1947. It wasn't, well, it was the downhill run against religion, I can tell you. We'd seen, if you like, such appalling problems in the world, and in places of Europe, with first-class experience of such. First-hand, not class, first-hand experience of such. It had shattered confidence in things like religion in some ways, although in other ways, war, in the thick of the war, in the panic and the problems and the burden, there's a tremendous turning to religious, spiritual things because, it's sort of last hope strategy, isn't it? The chap on the battlefield who's mortally wounded, he cries out to God and to his mum in an absolute last-ditch hope of survival. Desperation. Times of desperation make us rethink our values. And consequence of the First and Second World War seemed to be that we rethought them against traditional religion as being very unsatisfactory in solving our problems. And perhaps we threw out the baby with the bathwater, so that we threw out everything spiritual and ended up with a very materialist world that was taking off in the 1920s and also in the 1950s after the Second World War. And we haven't really recovered, even in over half a century, from the disappointment of hope and glory. They got a bad name and was associated with all the fascist side of things, really. and what we now see as the communist side of things, which is our sort of tag for negativity, despite the fact that our own culture doesn't seem to successfully bring in the goods. Well, it brings in the goods like mad at times, but still for too few and too much, and doesn't bring in the happiness and the fullness of life that in some sense ideally we would like to be for all. Land of hope and glory. Those sort of anthems, national anthems, they try to galvanize a society together to achieve some purpose, don't they? Whether it's a football match or whether it's a world war. And it seems like life and death if we don't get our act together. Well, thank you, Heavenly Dad.